So here's a major problem. 31% of all Americans have high blood pressure, according to the Center of Disease Control. So when you do the math, that means that 68 million people have high blood pressure, and it's been estimated that half of them, they don't even know that they have it. Now, I live in California, and the stereotype in California is that we're all surfing and healthy and tan. Is that the stereotype? What do you think about California? Oh boy, am I asking for trouble. But let me know in the comment section what you think of California. I'd be curious. I won't judge you. What state in America has the highest amount of patients with high blood pressure? Ooh. Well, guess what? It's West Virginia. Now, the main issue with high blood pressure is that it's kind of a predictor for heart attacks and strokes. Now, if you're lucky, and if you define this as being lucky, if you're lucky, you're gonna live. If you live through a heart attack, chances are your body is never gonna be the same, but you're gonna live. You're gonna be able to see your kids grow up a little bit longer. You might be able to see your grandkids. If you have a stroke, your life, and you live, your life is gonna be different forever. Now, of course, this depends upon the stroke. If you're unlucky, the heart attack kills you and the stroke kills you. Now, many people are confused as to why strokes and heart attacks are kind of considered almost the same thing, even though they can be drastically different in their negative effects. But a heart attack is where there's lack of blood getting to the heart muscle. And when there's lack of blood getting to the heart muscle dies. This is a problem. Now, there's various types of heart attacks. There's ones where the blood vessel gets clogged up and squeezes off, or the muscle inside the artery can spasm, and that's lack of blood flow, or there could be a clot. So there's various types of heart attacks, but ultimately what happens is the heart muscle does not get enough oxygen and nutrients, and then it dies. It's almost like if you tied a rubber band around your finger so tight that no blood or oxygen gets to the edge of your finger. Well, this part of your finger, it's not gonna function very good. Now, with a stroke, instead of lack of blood supply getting to your heart, the lack of blood supply is to your brain. And so your brain cells, your nervous system, and your brain and your spinal cord all control every function pretty much in your body. So if you have a stroke and there's lack of blood supply to one side of your brain, because that side of your brain may control your speech, your eye movements, your arm movements, your leg movements, then you don't get to use those anymore. Now, there are times when a person has a stroke and the blood vessel just bursts and you bleed out. That's usually not a survivable situation most of the time. But if you have a clot, or you just have ischemia, which is lack of blood supply to an area, you may have just a mild stroke. Now, the solution to trying to solve this blood pressure problem is to try to get your blood pressure as low as possible. In other words, you want your blood pressure below 120/80. That's kind of the accepted range as of today. And what's happened is the ultimate goal is to try to get that blood pressure as low as possible to those numbers by any means possible. So what we're talking about is if you're going to try to make lifestyle changes, if you're going to make dietary changes, exercise changes, changes with stress. In addition to that, you can also take any number of medications, but the ultimate goal is you want to get those numbers down. Now, changing your lifestyle, it is hard. Swallowing a pill, it's just easy. So most people choose to just swallow pills for their blood pressure. And it's just generally accepted that when you go into a doctor's office and they tell you that you have elevated blood pressure or stage 1 hypertension, stage 2 hypertension, whatever it is, most people just take the pills. But there is an alternative to taking pills. And most people are not gonna talk much about it simply because it's difficult. And that is, the solution is getting healthier. Your blood pressure is actually a reflection of your health rather than just a number that you have to change. Think of it this way. Instead of thinking of blood pressure, let's use as an analogy blood sugar and diabetes. If I eat too much sugar for too long of a period of time, then eventually as I get older, my pancreas is just not going to be able to handle that sugar anymore. My pancreas will not be able to keep up with the demand of how much sugar I'm putting in my pie hole. The pancreas needs to secrete insulin. I'm pushing too much sugar into my mouth. It just starts to get tired. So you go to the doctor, your A1C starts to go higher, your blood sugar is going higher. The doctor says, well, it looks like you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. We're gonna give you some pills. And so you swallow pills, and yeah, quite frankly, it works. It does change the numbers. But wouldn't it be ideal, in an ideal world, better to actually stop putting so much sugar into the mouth? Then the pancreas can actually get a rest, and maybe, possibly, over a period of time, maybe months, maybe a year, your pancreas can recover, and you can actually start to become a healthier person. And a healthier person will have a healthier pancreas, and that pancreas can now recover, and now you don't have an unhealthy relationship with sugar anymore. It really is so cliche to say this, but you're treating the cause rather than the symptoms. Now, here's the deal. I know it's hard. I know it sounds almost impossible to make all these changes to your lifestyle, but sometimes little changes can make a big difference. Here are 3 simple changes that once you make the habit of starting to make these changes, you can make other little changes as well in your lifestyle and maybe change your high blood pressure. So number 1 is walking at a brisk pace for 30 minutes every single day, 7 days a week. If you were to, maybe after dinner or before dinner or during the course of the day, or you could break it up and do different 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Walking briskly at a pace that's a little bit faster than window shopping can make a tremendous difference. First of all, turn your phone off and go for a walk, and walk with a little bit of a clip. Walk with intention. Walk tall, walk proud, but walk with a brisk pace. And you'd be surprised, number 1, how much fun it is. But that just right there can make a difference for you. Number 2, eat 1 meal a day that has tons of vegetables. When you look at your plate, that plate should be overwhelmingly vegetables. Vegetables have tremendous amounts of magnesium in them, other minerals that are very important, but magnesium is one that plays a major role in your blood pressure. But you're not going to get magnesium at fast food restaurants. You're not going to get a lot of magnesium if your food comes in a package, if it's in a box. You just have to understand that vegetables are where you're going to get most of your minerals from. And the higher amount of minerals that you eat, the better. And I'm not telling you that you have to eat all the meals with vegetables, but if you just plan on 1 meal a day with a plate full of vegetables, and if you cook them, if you saute them, if you steam them, it doesn't matter if you eat them raw, just eat a lot of vegetables at least 1 time a day, and you'll be surprised over time how much healthier you feel. And the third and final daily habit that you can make would be to give yourself at least 5 minutes without any stress at all. And the best thing that you can do is sit down in a chair, turn out the lights, and just breathe in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. As deep as you humanly can. Deep breathing for 5 minutes a day without thinking about the stress. Don't worry about what's happening. After 5 minutes, you can go back to all the stress that you want, but you deserve 5 minutes a day of just calmness. And if you do that, it's almost like brushing your teeth. This is the weird thing, is that when you do 5 minutes of deep breathing every single day, that after 7 days, 14 days, a year, it's amazing how much, first of all, you look forward to it, but it's almost like brushing your teeth. You know, if you just brush your teeth once, it doesn't really have that much effect on your dental hygiene. But if you brush your teeth every day, it's cumulative over a period of time. And deep breathing can have that effect. So those are the 3 daily habits that you can do that are so simple. If you just get started with those, all the other things will just fall into place. So the results that you have today are simply a result of the habits you had yesterday. And the results that you have tomorrow are going to be based upon the habits that you have today. So if you want your blood pressure changed now, it isn't going to happen. But if you want your blood pressure changed later, you totally can do it. And I understand it's so much easier to take medication, but try to become healthier. Because remember, blood pressure is simply a reflection of your overall health. Today's video sponsor is Mother Good Earth, and they are a great company because they are, first of all, sponsoring this video, and second of all, they have the greatest minerals ever, and they have a philosophy of minerals come from the earth. So where do you get it? From the earth. And so watch what I'm gonna do here. We're just gonna go down. It rained the other day. You just take a nice cup here and just scoop up some mud. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix this Mother Earth with water and drink it to get all the minerals that come from the earth. So you can see I just mixed it with water and all the chunky goodness is in there. Beautiful for minerals. Oh my God. Oh, screw this, I don't need the money. No more sponsorship. Okay guys, good news. I have a new sponsor, Optimizers, and they have Magnesium Breakthrough. This actually I do use. I take 2 tablets at nighttime. It helps me sleep. It's got 7 different minerals. Now, of course, Mother Earth supplies minerals in the dirt, but it needs to come into the vegetables. And if the soil isn't good, if you're not eating organic vegetables, you're not getting as many minerals as you really should be. So that's why I take 2 tablets. It's got 500 milligrams of magnesium in it, and it's got 7 different types of magnesium. The reason I take this is for a number of reasons. It regulates my blood pressure, it keeps my heart healthy, which is an endurance athlete I really want, and it helps me sleep. It's easy on the stomach, easy to digest, no digestive trouble, and this is actually a sponsor that I could stand by. Oh man, who's gonna clean up these chunks?